All right, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like that snow is finally starting to make its way into this area. It's starting to come down a little at a time. Let's enjoy a little bit of music as we watch the snowfall. Yo, Miss ATS News. Great video today. A little nervous, almost like the Elvis Presley comeback, 1968. Enjoy the music, and we got snow. Miss ATS News says she wasn't sure if she still had it in her. You still got it. Most of us stuck around to see you in that Nikki brown bikini that you said you were going to put on after you had your kids. So a lot of us are just waiting. We didn't get too much snow. Thank God it ended up down north, but it's starting to come down a little bit. Did you hear the bad news, Miss ATS News? as it started, it's over. Ain't that fast. They came and went. I don't know if I think they're calling for more tonight. But great job on your video, Miss ATS News. Welcome back. Not that you were gone that long. All right, I guess I'll be back if we get some more snow or something exciting happens. We did have Mr. Trump's speech today that he did. Maybe we'll check that out real quick here, real fast. I want to hear some of that. Let's share that real quick here.
Once it did, other things should have happened. Other things should have taken place. So we're getting security on our money. We're going to have it secured by. They have rare earth, and they have oil and gas, and they have a lot of other things. And we're asking for security on our money.
How long does Zelensky have?
They've agreed to it.
Ukraine?
Ukraine has agreed to it.
Does it mean you are not sending any more aid to Ukraine?
No, we are, but we want it secured, and the money is going to be secured.
When would the U.S. stop sending funding? When would the U.S. stop sending funding?
Because if we didn't do that, then Putin would say he won. We're the thing that's holding it back. And frankly, we'll go as long as we have to go, because we're not going to let the other happen. But President Putin wants to have peace now, and that's good. And he didn't want to have peace with Biden.
Was that conversation with Putin?
And you tell me why that is, okay?
Was that conversation with Putin to start these negotiations part of the deal to bring Fogel home?
No, but it was a nice thing that he allowed Mark Fogel to leave. In fact, Mark wasn't feeling well, but he was all of a sudden about 2 weeks ago, he started being treated very nicely. He said they took him out for haircuts. They took him out. They helped him out a little bit and made him feel better, made him look better. And they were nice to him. And he said, I saw something happening. And it coincided with when I came into office. So that was nice. And he's a fine person. He was so happy to be out. He was there for 3.5 years plus. And he shouldn't have been there at all. They should have had him out much faster than that.
What does make you believe that Zelensky will agree?
Wait, go ahead, please.
Sorry, sir, just to be clear, do you see any future in which Ukraine returns to its pre-2014 borders?
Well, I think Pete said today that that's unlikely, right? It certainly would seem to be unlikely. They took a lot of land, and
Miss ATS,
they fought for that land, and they lost a lot of soldiers. But it would just seem to me, and I'm not making an opinion on it, but I've read a lot on it, and a lot of people think that that's unlikely. Some of it will come back. I think some of it will come back. Yeah, some of that land will come back.
President, these are both Russian.
Who are you with?
Sorry, me.
Yeah.
AFP.
You who?
AFP, Agence France Presse.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask you, the things that the Secretary of Defense was talking about, the 2014 borders and the lack of NATO membership. Ultimately, these are both demands that Russia has made in the past. Is there not a danger of handing Russia a kind of win on this?
Well, I think that if you look at the war, the way the war is going, you'll have to make your own determination. I'm just here to try and get peace. I don't care so much about anything other than I want to stop having millions of people killed. Last night, Kiev got hit very, very hard. I want to see people stop getting killed. That war is ridiculous. It should have never happened, and it would have never happened. Yeah, a couple of more questions.
Are you planning to sign an executive order of reciprocal tariffs, sir?
Yes, I am. In fact, I may do it today, and if I do it today, I could almost do it right now. Would you like me to talk about it now? I don't want to take anything away from this young lady's day, because this is her day. And I may do it later on, or I may do it tomorrow morning, but we'll be signing reciprocal tariffs. The world has taken advantage of the United States for many years. They've charged us massive tariffs that we haven't charged them.
It was
and
her
as
day.
you know, I just did something on steel and aluminum, 25%.
Not like
and that'll
ours.
go up at some point,
Just
but
as
25%, which
Woman,
will level the playing field quite a bit. I did it
I agree,
previously
Mr. Johnson,
50%,
call her date.
and Obama was very weak, and
Month
Biden
all
was even
Debbie
weaker
Day.
on steel. The steel was just absolutely. It really started
Me for a
with Obama. The world really took advantage of us, and then that morphed into
not sure.
Biden. And what they did was he was so worried about trying to attack his political opponent that he didn't know what he was doing with respect to countries taking advantage. He should have looked at the countries, both friend and foe, taking advantage of us. So we're going to be doing reciprocal tariffs, which is whatever they charge, we charge, very simply. But we're going to be.
Considering
Continue to
exemptions.
talk about widespread fraud and abuse.
Oh
When will Attorney
tremendous
General-
fraud. There's tremendous fraud, and it's hard to believe that you can have that kind of fraud. You're talking about are you talking about what?
when the
Wait.
Attorney General's gonna-
Which are you talking? You're talking about with regard to all of the investigations that are going on about this stupidity. What we're going to do is tomorrow I'm having a news conference. I'm going to read to you some of the names that hundreds of millions and even billions of dollars have been given to. And if you tell me that we should be giving money to those things, those entities, I think you'll probably have to leave as a reporter because you're not very talented. When you look at the kind of money, billions and billions of dollars being thrown away illegally,
billion.
and there's no chance. I mean, I say it in front of our attorney general. There's no chance that there's not kickbacks or something going on. When you give millions and millions of dollars to
Kickbacks.
somebody that stands to look at something for 15 minutes and walks away with millions of dollars, that money's coming back in some form. And that's only one form of corruption. The biggest thing is
Corruption.
what they do to our country. They're taking massive amounts of money and spending it on items. I went through a list of 200 expenditures that were made, and I found 3 that looked like they were reasonable. Okay, 3.
3 of them.
And
The other
we'll be
2
talking
were
about that tomorrow. We have a lot of stuff, and I want to commend
contracts.
Elon because he's
Some
done a
company
fantastic. He
that
doesn't need this.
uses
You know, he's abused by you people every day. He's
Some
found
others.
more things than anybody could find. I think he's got the
27
credibility to do it. I know he does.
Uh,
And it's his group of people. You know, they started off with
Right.
12.
is supposed to be the next
I call them
one.
12 geniuses. They started off with 12 and they went to 20 and 25, and now they're up to
Geniuses.
almost 100. People are joining to help them because there's a massive fraud that's taken place. And then you have judges
Yes.
that are activists, and they sit there and they say, oh,
Never got my
as an
ever-
example,
or have.
$59 million going to
I put in
a
an
little
order
small
years
group
ago.
in New York
I don't know
City.
what- I haven't.
You get nothing going to North Carolina to help nothing. They say we don't have any money because they've given it away on the border. But you have nothing. What they did to North Carolina is a shame. And then they sent $59 million to New York City for a
Wow.
hotel for a little bit of nothing. What they've done, a hotel that was not luxury, that's getting luxury rates for migrants, where they're making a fortune, and we catch them. But a judge says, well, even though
Thank
it
God
may
we-
be a fraud, you have to
I think
send
we
the
should-
money in anyway.
There he was
Send the money. I said, wait a minute. We have money
massive amounts
that
of rat
shouldn't go because we caught it before it was sent out,
Work.
but they want the money to go anyway. And I think you're going to have a lot of things to look at, Pam. I really do. What's going on with this whole thing? And this is just one group. We haven't talked about Department of Education. We haven't talked about the military. We haven't talked about a lot of things that are very big. And what's happened is, as an example, you'll have cases where you have a 3-month contract, and maybe the guy that signs the contract leaves. Maybe he gets rich. All of a sudden he leaves for that reason. But you have a 3-month contract, and maybe he leaves. So the contract is sitting there, and the people signing the checks don't know it's 3 months, and it goes on for years. The 3 months turns out to be 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, just goes on forever. And the guy on the other side of the contract just keeps
Forever.
getting check after check after check, because Elon had an expression yesterday, because nobody cares.
Ugh.
It's a great expression. Nobody cares.
I care.
The guy that signed the contract didn't care. Maybe there, may not be there, maybe crooked.
Definitely
Who knows?
care now.
But you have to care. Otherwise, you can't really run a thing like that, or you can't run a country, really, because there's so many transactions. thousands and thousands of transactions. And if you don't have people that care, you're going to lose control. And that's what's happened. And we've caught it. Now, what we caught is billions and billions of dollars, but it's a tiny fraction of the
billions.
real number. Because you can never catch the real number because people have gotten away with tremendous amounts of money. But I said we have to make our government smaller, more efficient, more effective, and a lot less expensive. And we could find $1 trillion, but we're being hindered by courts where they file in certain courts where it's very hard to win. And a judge will stop us, and a judge will say that it doesn't make any difference what you find. You just keep paying the money. That's a hell of a way to be. And I follow the courts. I have to follow the law. All it means is that we appeal. But that gives people time to cover their tracks. And that's what they do.
Gives them
So it's a
time to
very
get
bad,
rid of
it's a
the
very
evidence.
bad thing that's taking place.
And
But hopefully if the courts, hopefully the courts will be fair. They don't have to be very fair. They just have to be a little bit fair because this is so egregious what's taken place. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. Nobody's seen numbers like this. These are massive numbers. $9 million for somebody to go and stand in a store and see how people shop. Okay. I mean, you take a look at these things. It's a disgrace. And then you have a country
I
that
can do
we
that
want to
job for 5
make
minutes.
America great again. It's very hard to make America great again when you have
Yeah.
things like this. And you're going to see the same thing. Department of Education is going to be a disaster. The
know.
military, I mean, I see it. Look, I came in, they had a contract done, as you know, for $5.7 billion for airplanes. It was Air Force One with Boeing. 5.7. I got it down to $4 billion, little less than that, 1 penny less than that. $3,999,999 and 99 cents. I said, it has to have a 3 in front of it because I wouldn't sign the contract for $5.7 billion. I was able to cut $1.7 billion off the price.
0.7
And it
billion.
didn't take me long. 1.7 billion. If people would care, they'd be able to do that with every single contract that's put before them. And we wouldn't have deficits, would have nothing but a tremendously low taxed,
We do care. I hope
wonderful
they put
country.
Engine in
But
them.
they have to care. And speaking of that,
They
Boeing,
put
we're not
engines
happy
in
with
there and brakes on that plane.
service we're getting in
Cut
terms
$1
of
billion
those planes.
off that bill. I hope
They
I hope they
would like
put
to get more
engines-
money. We're not happy about that whole thing. We signed a very strong contract. I signed a guaranteed maximum contract, which they haven't seen in a long time. And they're saying they're getting hurt by it. But they have to produce the product, and we expect them to produce the product. They have to produce the product. They agreed to build planes at a certain price. They're
They
not
do
used
have
to that. They're used to
produce the
having
product. I agree.
time and material
Waiting for me.
contracts where it's
Right.
whatever it costs,
Right.
time and material, no dates, no
And they-
anything, and it ends up costing 5 times more. You look at some of the ships that have been built. Take a look at the Gerald Ford, the
this
aircraft carrier,
everybody's
the Ford.
talking about right now. The ship.
It was supposed to cost $3 billion. It ends up costing like $18 billion. And they make, of course, all electric catapults, which don't work. And they have all magnetic elevators. They lift up 25 planes at a time, 20 planes at a time. And instead of using hydraulic, like on tractors that can handle anything from hurricanes to lightning to anything, they use magnets. It's a new theory. Magnets are going to lift the planes up, and it doesn't work. And they had billions and billions of dollars of cost overruns. I met the architect. I said, have you designed a ship before? This is one of the biggest ships in the world.
Yes.
It's like landing at LaGuardia Airport. But you look at the kind of waste, fraud, and abuse that this country is going through, and we have to straighten it out. We have great people going into the military in terms of we need ships, we need a lot of things. We have great people we have business people going in. But when you look at what's happened to our purchasing, and when you look at the USAID, when you look at the things that they're giving to them, the billions of dollars that they're giving to, and it doesn't make sense. It is interesting that when you're looking for fraud, you look at items, hundreds of items, and you'll find 1 or 2, maybe, if you're lucky. Here's something where you look at it, and they're all fraudulent. By just looking at the topic, They're all fraudulent, except it's the opposite. You'll find one or two that's like a legitimate reason. So
You know, Mr. Trump, continue to look and do what you're doing. Look into the more. I know the mortgages were bad. I know they were fraudulent mortgages and all kinds of stuff that these people were pulling. And they were getting away with it. I agree 100%. Okay, folks, we got snow firing back up. We have one of the great YouTube mods here today, Miss ATS News, who also has her own channel and did her comeback special today. It was a great video. The world has been turned upside down, but here I stand still, or sit. Well, I'm sitting right now. And we got snow coming in tonight. And yeah, I mean, show us the money. It's no wonder we're suffering, you know, and we've been doing the numbers and we're dumb. And our numbers were more better than what these professional, I don't know, mathematics or whatever was. You know, we're here suffering. It's about all we're good for anymore, voting and suffering. But we got snow coming. I want to thank all you folks for hanging out and chilling, sticking with me when I was possessed by all them people and demonic stuff or whatever. Thank God. One day at a time. The struggle is real. And we'll be back later or sometime later. It's time for my vacation. I'll take a break from the whole world. I've lost in love. I've lost in friends. I've lost in money, health. Beautiful loser. But we keep going. You folks have a great night. God bless. Right? All glory goes to God. Keep fighting. Keep pushing on. And we'll be back later. Or one of these days.